This month in Light Novels, we are getting married. We're going to learn how to survive in another world. We're getting into a bunny costume. And heck with it, we're just getting naked. Hello everybody and welcome to this video where I'm covering what is brand new in light novels, this being the month of April 2020. I know I'm a little bit late with this one, but to be fair, only one of the brand new series has already premiered at this point, so I'm not doing too badly. As always, I'm Justus and this channel is all about light novels, giving you news like this one, as well as tons of reviews, the Light Novel Podcast. So if you love light novels, or maybe you're just starting to get interested in them, make sure you hit that subscribe button for all my future light novel content. This month we have 6 brand new series making their debut. Now, if you want to see the entire list of all the light novels that are releasing in the month of April, I've got a link to EnglishLightNovels.com where I've got that all laid out so you can see everything that's coming. And just so that we're on the same page, obviously with COVID-19, there's been a lot of impact to schedules and everything else. So light novels, we've had a lot of delays in releases in May, June, and July. Now, I've gone through a bunch. I've managed to get May's list, I think, correct for what's happening so far. Of course, there will always be curveballs thrown here and there, but you can at least see what's brand new coming out in April, and I'm pretty sure you're good to look at May. Beyond that, I'm still working on trying to figure out what's happening, because pretty much all the publishers have announced at least some delays with COVID-19. So the first title that came out on April 6th, so this is the one that I missed getting this video out late, and that is from J Novel Club, and that is The Tales of Marielle Clarac. I'm pretty sure this is part of the J Novel Heart line. There are currently 6 volumes in Japan. Pretty sure that is complete for this series. The last volume was published back in September of 2018, so pretty certain at this point that that's the end of this series. As a plain, unassuming noble's daughter, Marielle doesn't stand out in high society. Imagine her surprise when she receives a marriage proposal from the sought-after Simeon, second in command of the Royal Order of Knights. Simeon, the heir to an earldom, is highly accomplished in scholarly and military arts, and he's gorgeous. So, why did he propose to such an unremarkable noblewoman? Despite being a target of envy and scorn, Marielle is happy. After all, Simeon seems to be exactly her type, a dashingly handsome man with glasses who appears gentle on the outside, but who has a dark and scheming side. Welcome to Marielle's world, where people aren't always what they seem, and a prim, proper exterior can hide the heart of a sly and devious fangirl. So I don't know much about this series. There's actually, Sean Gaffney's already done a review on it, but I haven't read his review. Just kind of been busy with a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm sure Sean probably has more to say about this book. But I do kind of love this idea that it is telling the tale of a girl who seems so prim and proper and docile and just kind of that wallflower, but just has that kind of edgy side to her. I'm kind of curious to see how this one plays out. On April 14th, and this one's coming to us from J Novel Club, it is a standalone volume, and that is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Isekai. Now, this one is kind of interesting because it is a self-published light novel that was released for Comiket 96, but the names associated with this are really big heavy hitters. So you've got Carlo Zen, who of course writes the saga of Tanya the Evil, Natsuya Samikawa, who has written Isekai Izakaya Nobu, Hoko Tsuda, who wrote Yaruki Nashi Ayutan, Tape Nagatsuki from ReZero, Katsui Shibata from Hito Yoru no Nagai Yume, and Natsu Hyuga from Kasuria no Hitoroi Goto. Now, I'm not familiar with all of these authors because we don't actually have stuff out in English from all of these authors, but just from the ones that we know, like Nagatsuki, Carlos Zen, like these are not just, a bunch of nobodies. And these are also people that are making their bank off of Isekai. So, traveling to another world, either by accident, magic summoning, death, cruel twist of fate, on a research assignment, or just on vacation, means dealing with a whole lot of change all at once. In this compilation, the authors of the Sakakaihan Writing Circle explore the ins and outs of what to expect when you've been transported to another plane of existence. 6 different short stories cover the author's ruminations on how to get by in these other worlds, whether you're headed over voluntarily or finding yourself just trying to survive. You'll probably want to bring a towel. Things are going to get slimy. Don't think it'll save you from a fireball, however. I'm pretty sure some of these are going to be a parody type feel to them, although I wouldn't exactly put it past all of these authors to at least do maybe one serious story in this volume. I'm kind of curious to see how that all works out. And what's kind of interesting is that J-Novel Club has a different translator for each one of these stories. So I think it's kind of cool because of course you have a different writer, so it's a different style, but you'll also have a different translator. So there's a little bit of a different flair to each story as well. So I think this one's going to be a really cool book to check out. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is coming to us from Seven Seas. And this one, it's coming out on April 16th, and that's the ebook early release. The actual paperback will be coming out in June, and that is Adachi and Shimamura. Volume number 1 of this one, there's currently 8 volumes in Japan. It's still an ongoing series, and it's recently had an anime announced as well. We don't have any confirmed dates yet on when we can expect to see the anime, especially now with all anime productions seemingly being delayed and everything else with COVID-19, though. They had said it was going to come out sometime in 2020, but I'm laying odds with everything going all wonkadoodle the way it is that we're probably looking more at 2021 for this one. Adachi is skipping class when she first meets fellow truant Shimamura in the gym loft. And just like that, a friendship is born. Except now Adachi's having dreams about kissing her. And she doesn't know what that means. But she's pretty sure it's not something you do with a friend. What are these strange feelings she has when she thinks of Shimamura? And is it possible that Shimamura feels the same way? So yes, this is a Yuri title. Apparently a very well-regarded one. One that Seven Seas, when they licensed it, said that they had a ton of people requesting it. So again, not a title that I'm familiar with because it is just coming out in English, but definitely one that I'm very interested in checking out and seeing what it's like. Chances are I'll probably wait until the actual print release for this one, but nonetheless, definitely a series that I think is going to be worth checking out. The next new release is coming to us from J-Novel Club, and that is The Extraordinary, The Ordinary, and Soap. This is going to be released on April 27th. In Japan, there are 3 volumes, and that's a complete series, so it's only 3 volumes long. Lucia Arca was an ordinary, unremarkable laundry maid in the royal palace. Even her unique magical power, soap, was boring. It simply created soap bubbles that removed stains. But when she learned one day that soap could also calm and stop rampaging monsters, the king decreed that Lucia must join the Sacred Maiden and her companions on their quest to cleanse the land and save the world. On a mission to save the world alongside the Sacred Maiden, the famed Dragon Slayer, a prodigy magician, and other great heroes, what is an ordinary laundry maid like Lucia to do? But she learns that even extraordinary heroes are ordinary people in their own way. A heartwarming romantic comedy featuring an ordinary but earnest heroine. So again, this I'm pretty sure is another J-Novel Club Heart title. It is published in Japan by Arian Rose, which are the publishers that a lot of the J-Novel Heart titles are coming from. I mean, it sounds cute, honestly. And it was funny because I don't know if you've checked out the latest episode of the Light Novel Podcast where we were talking about No Game, No Life, but we talked about this title. And I was saying, you know, given like what's going on in the world and the absolute necessity and importance of soap, man, this girl would be like killer to have around in the age of COVID-19. So maybe that could be a sequel. On April 21st, this one coming to us from Yen On, and that is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Yes, the title that I think a lot of us have been very looking forward to. The anime was very well received for this one. There's currently 10 volumes in Japan. The series, I believe, is still ongoing. The TV anime plus the movie that followed it covered volumes 1 to 7, just in case you're curious about how many volumes you need to get through before you hit material that was not covered. Although I do believe I heard from some people that some stuff has been cut out, like condensed as anime typically does. So obviously probably still worth your while to read the entire series. Bunny girls do not live in libraries. This is simply common sense. And yet, that's exactly where Sakuta runs into one. Wanting to find out more about the mystery surrounding this bunny girl, and maybe get a little closer to her in the process, Sakuta launches an investigation to figure out what's causing her to be invisible to everyone around them. So, if you're not familiar with this series, it's like, what do they call it? Puberty syndrome or something like that? It's sort of pseudoscience to explain all these weird phenomenon that are happening to all these different girls. And as I understand it, I guess the main character, each volume sort of deals with a different female and a different problem, and just follows this male as he goes through trying to solve their issues. But like I said, the anime got really well received, good reviews from people. I didn't watch it because, again, my policy of trying not to watch any light novel adaptations that we don't have licensed yet, just in case I, get the license. And but the few screen caps that I saw of like just the dialogue and everything else kind of reminded me a little bit of Monogatari in terms of a little bit of the snark and everything else that happens between the characters. And I like the vibe of what I saw so far. So definitely this is going to be one that I'm picking up. Finally, on April 30th, and this is an ebook pre-release from 7 Seas. The print release won't be out until July 21st. It was supposed to be out earlier, but again, this is one of those sort of COVID delays. And that's going to be Buck Naked in Another World. There's currently 2 volumes in Japan. Only 2 volumes, and as far as I understand, I think it's still ongoing. Like, it's a relatively new series. When an ordinary Japanese man is catapulted headfirst into a fantasy world, he's especially disappointed that he was sent stark naked. Adapting to life in a land of monsters and magic is hard enough without having to do it in your birthday suit. But Yoshida Shuta is going to grin and bear it, or bear it, as best he can. Now, I don't know what to say about this one. I looked at some of the images from like the interior cover and the previews, and I mean, dude, it's not like he walks around with his junk hanging out. Like, he does at least wear a loincloth, and I could swear in the second volume it looked like he was wearing pants. So I was kind of like, I don't really understand why they're making this big thing out about him being buck naked in another world. Like, can he not wear clothes? Like, do clothes just like blow off of him if he tries to put them on? I'm not too sure, and yeah, I don't know about this one. This is one of those licenses that you kind of were like, just shaking your head, You're like, if you guys were desperate for an Isekai, why didn't you go for the one where the guy, like, gets reincarnated as a hot spring? Because, I mean, why not? Like, you know, if you're gonna go on Eshi, like, let's just go for it, you know? At least it would be a little different than I just showed up here naked and for some reason I'm staying mostly naked. I don't know. You know, feel free to let me know in the comments if you know anything about this title. Like, is there a reason that does he stay naked? Does he have to be naked? Like, I don't really know. In this video, I want to say a special thanks to Nuvalaric, Mitchell Von Region, Yun, and Renzaz for their support on Patreon, as well as the support of all my patrons that help me to keep buying books to review here on the channel, as well as paying for additional hosting so the Light Novel podcast can be on as many platforms as possible, and just, you know, helping me pay for software rentals and stuff like that that just keep the channel running. I really appreciate all of your support, especially during these really uncertain and weird times. So those are all the light novel series making their debut in the month of April 2020. What ones have you excited? Which ones are you going to be picking up? And what ones are you kind of saying, oh, heck no? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me in this video. I look forward to seeing you in all of my future ones. Till then, bye-bye for now.